Good morning. So, I'm sorry we're getting kind of a glare. I'm going to have to figure out how to get around that. This Planted Paradise stamp set that I think is going to be retiring here soon. I really like it. And it gives you a lot of options for making some cute cards. And I saw a card, not using this stamp set, but a card that Michelle Zindorf made with this kind of subtle sponging and embossing folder, and I thought I would kind of do a play on that. So I realized much later my pot here is a little bit crooked, but I figure a hanging plant isn't always exactly straight, so we're just going to leave it as is. But you could use obviously any stamp set and any embossing folder for this technique. So I'm also using three of our in colors that will be retiring this at the end of this month, I guess. The Tahitian Tide, Parakeet Party, and Orchid Oasis. They have been great colors to use, but they're making room for some new ones. All right. So, normally I don't double matte and I don't matte on the inside, but mostly because it adds a little bit of weight to the card, but it doesn't add that much weight. And I think sometimes it just gives it that little extra oomph that it might need. All right, so for the front of the card, bring these over here. I'm going to do something similar, but I'm going to do the larger pot on this one. This is going to be a big hanging pot. Now, these stamps, I'm not sure what they call them, but they're meant, they show you on here, they're meant to be used on both sides. So for this one, you stamp this. Now, this is the solid side. So this would be this side that I'm going to stamp first. And I like to use the same color for both that I'm going to stamp, and I'll show you. So I'm going to use the Orchid Oasis for the hanging pot. I think I will make this one a hanging one again. I'm just kind of lining everything up to see if I can't get it a little more straight this time. All right, so you can see that's fully stamped, and I'm going to stamp off one time. And that way, when I stamp on here, it will not be as dark. I did get one little dark area over there, but that's fine. Okay, and then I'll use my chamois. All right, and then we're going to turn it over, and the side that has the design on it, we're going to stamp that next, and I'm going to stamp that one full strength. And that way, you could absolutely use two different colors on these kinds of stamps. It doesn't have to be done this way. This is just one of the ways that I like to do it. I'm trying to get that lined up. Okay, I was a little low, but it's still fine. All right, so there's my pot. I'm going to do the leaves. This one, I think I'm just going to stamp some of these large leaves. And I'm going to do them the same way. So I think I'll just do this one. So I'm going to take the solid side. And I'm going to do that first. I'm going to stamp off once, and then I'll stamp it on here. I think I'm going to try to keep with the odds, doing odds and evens and whatnot, and try to do 5 leaves on here. Okay. Just clean that off, and then I'll flip it over. Had some ink on the block. Flip it over, and the side with the pattern on it, I'm going to stamp that full strength. To give it the design. And I'm not worrying about masking this. I am going to mask when I stamp the hangers. Okay. Now to stamp the hangers, I just used a piece of my Post-it note and kind of put it here and fit around. You could absolutely stamp on this and then kind of there we go, cut around it and do that. I'm just trying to make it easy. All right, maybe I'll use a different hanger this time. Last time I used the one with the little like knots in it, and this time I'm going to use this one. Oops, let me get that one out of the way. You know what, I'm going to use a smaller block so I have more control, since this is a very small stamp. All right, so I'm going to go up from here. I don't want to cross over that other leaf is what I'm trying to avoid. And then see, it looks like that's going behind, which was what I wanted to do. All right, I'm going to block off this leaf. There we go. Go up this way. Take down that. You can barely see that one down there, but that's fine. And then we'll just keep going up here and here. So those didn't come to the top, which is fine. You can still tell that it's a hanging basket. Okay. So then, like I said, I noticed on her card that she did, Michelle Zendorf, that she had taken and just did a little bit of sponging here, not at the far edges and not all the way around. And I just really think that that gave it a lot of interest. So I just took some Post-it notes, and you can see through them well enough to see, you know, like how much you're masking off. And I'm just eyeballing it to kind of keep it about the same amount. You can certainly measure it if you like to. So I've got that and that masked off. And then I'm going to do just a real thin one down here. There and there. And I don't know if you can see, but there's just, that was not straight. There's just covering just a little bit of it. And you can go, like here, I went pretty far in on this one, but the pot was smaller. So this one I'm going to try to make a little bit larger. And I just had, there it is. So again, I'll start on the Post-it note and then come in so that I don't get a big clump of color. But just framing it a little bit, it very much caught my eye. And this is something where we have sponged and framed things before, kind of this asymmetrical look, just like I said, really caught my eye. Okay, so now if you are going to stamp some words on here, you would want to do that before you send it through the embossing machine. I am not, and I am going to actually, I had to not emboss this ahead of time because you can't stamp on it after you've embossed. So I left that for this time. And this is just an older folder that I had with all the dots. I just thought that kind of mirrored the little thing we've got coming down here. Now, she had left hers like this, which I think looks great. Just broke a nail. But I even thought, you know what, with these bubbles, that I could take my green, and I just had sponged it a little bit around the edges. And I'm not going to do that on this one, just for something different. So then I have my Tahitian Tide. Reminds me of the turquoise that we used to have. I wanted to say tempting turquoise, but this is Tahitian Tide. Okay, and then I've got my parakeet party. I'm going to put those mats on the front and the inside. I'm going to make those as straight as I can. Woo, there I ran out. I knew I was going to. That's why I got an extra one out. Where did I put it? There it is. I knew I was going to run out, but they're very easy to just put a new one in. There we go. So I always leave this one in, so I know exactly how I need to put this one in. Sometimes you have to get it started. There we go. That just goes in the trash. Okay. All right. And then this piece will go on the front, just like that. And see how that, just having that there, just really, I don't know. Sometimes just little details on a card like that catch my eye. And it may not be that I, would use the same colors or the same stamp set or something, but that idea right there, this little doodah, I thought was really nice. Okay, and then I just needed to stamp something for the inside. Let's see, I just put the little pot on here. Now this time, again, I could do the two-step again, but I just did only the one step on these. I just stamped the side that had the pattern on it. These are kind of a different thing. I don't often have just stamp something different. Have just a potted plant on my cards. This was something very new for me. It's nice to have, you don't want to have all flowers because then you're like, oh, well, that's fun, but maybe I'd like to do something else. Or this one will go on here. Yes, it will. So this time I'm just going to stamp a little. Oh, I should have left that out and done my envelope at the same time. Oh, well. That's okay. Put 3 little butterflies. There we go. And that'll be the inside of the card. So using this stamping first and then embossing the whole piece of paper. A lot of times we just use the the embossing folders for our background behind our focal points, but there's no reason you can't stamp and then emboss the whole piece like that. So I will stamp my envelopes now and have those ready to go and decide what kind of card this one's going to be. So I hope you have a great day and you try this technique.